Hello everyone, Man of Interest here with This Week in Keyboards. We have a good deal of news, including two interesting unveils at CES this year, and they're pertinent to us. Most of our news this week is Keysets, but surprisingly, only half of them are GMK sets. Before we dive into all of that news and excitement, I gotta tell you about the sponsor for this episode, Novel Keys. Over on Novel Keys, you get some amazing switches, desk mats, switch accessories, and they've been carrying a lot of extras of group buy sets that have been shipping out. So if it's not in a group buy, you can use my promo code HUEY to get 5% off your order. Check out Novel Keys in the link down below. Okay, for the news, we'll be going over the keyset news first, and then everything else, of course. More specifically, we'll be going through all the cat keysets first before getting to the GMK keysets. Starting us off in the news is Cat Lich by Eskimojo. This set is currently running on Novel Keys and is a set inspired by the character Wiest from Konosuba. Great show. The set, I'm not feeling it as much. Sure, it has the colors of Wiest, but somehow it seems lacking. Maybe it's the renders or the font that's not quite doing it for me. Oddly, this cat set will be set up like a PMK run with alphas, mods, novelties, and everything else compartmentalized into their own kits. The set will be running until the 31st of this month, so check it out when you get a chance. Next up, we have the group buy for Cat Drifter over on the Key Company. Inspired by the game Hyper Light Drifter and designed by Emil, this gives the former DSA set a form in Cat's profile. This time there's an option for Dark Alphas, which will be pretty interesting. On the group buy page, it doesn't say if the Dark Alphas will be reverse die subbed or double shot, but assumably reverse die subbed since they're all PBT. Hopefully those turn out good and open the door for more reverse die sub sets in the future. The group buy will be running until February 7th, and the kits are all, once again, compartmentalized into their own things. I never played the game, but I can appreciate its aesthetics. I think the set still is better suited for DSA than Cat, but maybe I'll be wrong when it ships. Check it out. The next cat set I get to discuss today is the Interest Check 4 Cat Specimen by QQMBR. This set dreams to bring back a trend we don't see too often, a gradient. I am still of the belief that SA 1976 has been the best gradient set we'll ever see. We'll see, maybe there'll be a better one in the future. But here it seems to be an attempt. We got a purple, a magenta, an egg yolk yellow, and a mint teal color. The extra kit does seem to be an effort to combine many traditional as well as not so well selling sets and kits into a kind of a consolidated set for 40s and ISO folks who will probably like it. I'm not really vibing with the novelties or the overall color theme of this set. I can already say this far ahead, it ain't for me, Chief. Up next from Tito EPFX is Cat Moonrise, which is another gradient set. A lot of cat and a lot of gradients. But instead of a diagonal top, it's top to bottom. It's a very basic IC, not much troubling information. Current renders are an SA and not cat because Tito is not ready, nor does he or she have the money for the pay for the renders. Well, based off the three pictures we have, looks like the kits will follow something similar to Cat Lich, and this is gonna be a big pass for Huey. How it is now? No. Just no. Because our next topic is one that will be live as of writing this video. Let's switch over to GMK news for GMK Copper over on Kono.store. Designed by Fatboy Carney, this set is described as the ultimate crossover, unifying the colorways of a humble coinage with statues and patina. There certainly is a dirty copperish kind of feel, which I appreciate, but I don't know if it's the flat lighting all renders use, but something about the set just doesn't really click with me. I like the copper patina accents, and that's mostly it. That's the best part of this set. I think the set could go well with a black board, but then again, basically everything goes with a black board, huh? Next up, we have the Interest Check for GMK Prepress by Dalo. This set gives us the offset print colors cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, aka CMYK. The core base kit doesn't look too bad. Honestly, I think the set might benefit if the alpha keycaps are changed to like a white or a creamy white instead of that dark gray. The issue, of course, would be the F9 through F12 keys not looking so great since yellow on white. It's not a good look. This set also has its own CMY stripe kit via the poster kit, which I think is interesting but a bit too loud. I do like the novelties quite a bit though, and maybe in its current iteration this set isn't for me, but I could possibly see me picking it up if certain changes are to be made. We'll see. Up next, we have GMK Moondust by Hisui. This set is currently running on Canon keys for a cool 135 for the base kit. People in this community tend to like purple, so it looks like there are going to be some happy people with this purple set running. If I got this set, I don't think I'd run any of the light purple accents. I do like how most of the set looks. It's like a creamy purple and white for the alphas. I'd be a bit worried about the contrast for the modifiers since they don't look ideal, but hey, Violet Tendencies had some low contrast modifiers and people who like purple still liked it, so I mean, there's a crowd for it. It exists. Okay, moving on, we have the intro check for GMK Demon Sword by Raravin. Inspired by Ayanami of Azure Lane, this red, white, and blue set gets my American blood really going. So this one is interesting because of its influences, because yes, it's a weeb set, but it's a weeb set that has a Hiragana Legends as a separate kit instead of a base kit. How considerate to the non-weebs. There's something about the simplicity of the set I like, but it does look tremendously like GMK Rudy if you put both sets next to each other without their accents. The colors are different, but if you made me choose with a gun to my head, I don't know how I'd label them, to be honest. Last but not least is a GMK set that I covered last week, so I'll make it quick because the only difference now is it's launched. GMK Fuyu, woo! Currently launched on Kono.store for $150. The set designed by McNoss is a set for those winter lovers who enjoy the cool blue and whites of winter. It has Hiragana sub-legends and it's a pretty simple set. Check it out in the link below. Our next topic is a tease from kbdfans. On their Instagram, they posted this picture with the caption EPBT ABS double shot keycaps prototype. So it looks like we'll be seeing some ABS from EPBT, which sounds odd. I wonder if they'll make a sub-brand. Enjoy ABS, EABS. This picture unfortunately doesn't tell us much because it's not really high enough quality or zoomed in enough for us to take a look at that double shot quality. Of the keycaps they produce in this prototype, it looks like if you had like GMK Charred Orange and GMK Sawara and there's like having an affair on that board. It doesn't look good. But hopefully this is just them playing around with colors. Maybe we'll see another competitor to Chery profile double shot ABS on the market. Hopefully they're decent. Hopefully they're better than that colorway at least. Ugh. Lastly, in our keycap news is the intro check for EPBT Mint by Nova KB. Derived from other ICs Nova KB put out, this seems to be a more polished than previous ICs like Memories or that other one, sorry. Overall, the key draw of this set are those pastel sign modifiers combined with either the creamy alphas or Japan kit, depending on if you'd like sub-legends or not. As EPBT goes, this could be a pretty nice set on a simple board as long as the alpha kit and modifiers don't cost too much. I think this could be on a nice simple acrylic build and that'd look pretty groovy. Okay, let's move on to finally some keyword news. If you thought the Keyblade was intense, you haven't seen Mooji Maniac's Butterknife.
That's a knife.
This $250 board reminds us that steel is in fact real, and unlike most Keyblades, this has it, the blade, because it's called the Butterknife because of the Butterstick PCB, but don't be fooled. I'm pretty sure the OP doesn't use butter knives that large, but hey, pretty crazy. 30 units available, 3 printed grip, 5 stainless steel pieces, low profile switches only, specifically Kale chalk switches. For a novelty project like this, going something like with low pro switches actually seems to make the most sense since it won't detract from your vision of this keyboard. Nice, thin, and hefty. It's pretty nifty, but not nifty enough for me to spend those dollary dues on it. But hey, I'd give it attention on an internet video online. So this isn't Mooji Maniac's only news topic this week. There's also the interest check for the Prime Elise. The group buy will be planned for next month, and this case is an enclosure for Holtank's Prime EPCB. Essentially, this board is if you took the Alice and gave it to the 40% crowd, and they did what they do with boards, and this is it. If you're a 40%er and you want to know what this Alice layout craze has been recently, this is definitely a way for you to try that out in something you're familiar with. I will lodge a complaint though. Come on guys. No centered USB-C port? It's 2020. Let's get real. I think the blockers on both sides look a bit funky because they're like proportional to the board. Not really proportional to the board, but hey, it's a part of the charm. Our next keyboard is the Trivium keyboard codename MPC by Pair Vaz. The MPC is an interesting one because the whole top, sides, and front are a single piece, while that back and bottom are different separate pieces. This means it'll be a completely seamless design as you look at the board. You'll probably do a lot of looking because those sides look pretty wild. The board will feature a 7.5 degree typing angle, feature an aluminum case with the option for aluminum or carbon fiber plates. The weight will be available in aluminum, steel, or copper. Seeing copper patina could be pretty cool on a board like this, but seeing a nice shiny polished copper would be pretty dope as well. While we don't have pricing yet, this over 6-pound behemoth probably won't come cheap. The bezels on the top are, how do I put this? It may be a point of contention, as some may view it as a bit too large, while others view it essential for this board. Regardless, I think this board is pretty cool, and this is a really great way for the OP to follow up the Weavin and the Lustro. Good for you, Pair Vaz. I'll be keeping my eye on this one. Our last keyboard in the news is the GSKT-00 by Wiest. What was originally a private group buy a year and a half ago is now going to be available to the public. How available? 200 units max, with the group buy starting on January 20th, a week from now. The case will cost $225, half plate $25, full plate $30. If you want a PCB, that'll be another $25. A Cerakote finish, another $50. So what's so unique about this board? Well, it's in the name, or what's hyphenated in the name, the gasket. It's flexy and comfortable for so many people. You can feel the compression of the gasket, the flex of the PCB, and a pretty nice sound by all the typing sounds you can check out of this board. Will I end up getting this board? Maybe? But it's pretty cool. And it's a good price. So, maybe? Our next two topics are from CES, and they'll be short and sweet. First, Zeal unveiled a new clicky switch, which is very interesting. It seems to utilize an Alp-style click. The final stem color, of course, is to be determined, and my guess, this one at CES was one of the engineering samples from the factory. It does look like the housing was modified from the traditional MX switch mold to give us more space for that click. We don't have many details yet, but I do have this to say. Cool. Maybe the switch will reignite clicky switches for many in our community. Next at CES is another switch. Instead of coming from Zeal, it's come from the big boys. The biggest boys. Chery. Chery has announced the Viola switch. Viola switch has 2mm actuation, 4mm total travel, 45-gram force, white housing, transparent stem, and apparently what's unique about this, Viola is supposed to be the killer of rubber dome switches, with the implication that they will be inexpensive. You know what? I will be extremely happy if this is in fact a replacement for rubber domes for so many people. Why? Because all these switches are MX keycap compatible. Imagine all these new people getting into gaming, into PC building, they buy some cheapy keyboard, but it has these Viola switches, and suddenly they can enter the world of pimping out that keyboard. Whew. That's going to be great for them. And imagine from there they get into custom. A wild life. Wild. This switch will have a palm socket and will be frame mounted, so no soldering required. Nice for manufacturers. Definitely a cost lowering measure. They're going to be doing what they're calling an 8-pillar guide structure to make keystroke wobble a thing of the past. Whether that will be a reality or not, we'll have to see, because they're aiming for this to be a cheap switch, and when switches are really cheap, sometimes the tolerances aren't the best. But I'm excited for the ramifications to our community if this switch takes off with PC building and gaming markets. Last in the news is a t-shirt. I'm not wearing it because it's not out yet, but it's the Archaic MX T-shirts over on Mountain Blocks. The group buy for these shirts will be running until the end of the month, and each shirt is $20 each. Designs are really cool, and you know they're cool because they're designed by Sour, the same person who designed all the art assets for this channel and my awesome icon. Yeah, so you should really check it out. It's a pretty cool shirt. That's it for this week in keyboards. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and hey, don't forget to check out Novel Keys when you get a chance. I'll have some new reviews and other content coming soon, but hey, if you want to be informed, hit that subscribe, ring that bell, the usual blah 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 blah, okay? I'm also going to be streaming on Twitch this week. I got a cool board to stream, and I got a new show coming on Saturday on Twitch. Whoa, crazy, yeah! I don't know why I'm so excited. That's just life, you know? I love you guys. See you guys next episode.